We're honored to have Senator Brown join us, one of the great friends of Taiwan and a real stalwart in support of U.S.-Taiwan relations for many years. His time is very brief, so I will immediately give you the podium, Senator, and thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for putting me on quickly. They just called another vote. This is they call this the U's. Nice to see you very much. I was going to tell a story about you two, so but they call this is a day once a year or twice a year during the budget. They have what they call a vote-a-rama. I think that must be a fairly new term where we vote literally every 10 or 12 minutes for about 12 hours. So they just called the next vote. So that will mean my speech will be very short. So you'll be glad of that. But to Randall Shriver and the whole idea of Project 2049, thank you, and thank you for the terrific work that you're doing. This is a real opportunity, again, to celebrate Taiwan in what it stands for and its terrific successes. And we know people around the United States typically know that Taiwan has been economically viable and successful and prosperous, but don't think enough about the story of Taiwan, not just the prosperity, but the democracy. And it really is a miracle in so many ways what that country has done in the last 20 years or so. My introduction to Taiwan, other than I had actually been there one time before this, but my introduction to really understanding Taiwan-American relations and Taiwan-China came from Dr. and Mrs. Yu from live in my county in Northeast Ohio. And the Yus had me to their home when I first ran for Congress in 1992. And they've been good friends since, and they were persistent, might be the right word, to the point that Dr. Yu, and I don't recommend this, Dr. Yu would call me often, which is fine, but he would call me at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, which was not so fine. But I have said this publicly many times, and he kept calling me at 11 or 11:30 at night. So, but finally, he's learned that's not a good. Now that I've married and my wife doesn't like it if he called that late, so he finally got no. But he and the Yus have been wonderful at really educating me and others, and that's really what I urge you to do wherever you live in this country. Dr. Lee, nice to see you too. To make sure that you do what you need to do on a grassroots level, because that's really what's made a difference in teaching people about democracy in Taiwan. And when you think about, I remember when the party changed from KMT to DPP back when President Xi Jinping, in spite of what's happened since, but what happened in that transition, that it's the real mark of a mature democracy to go from one political party to the other political party, and to do that without violence. And that's something that I think Taiwanese take for granted now. Americans have taken it for granted for many, many years. And that's what's really exciting in so many ways about the miracle of Taiwan. The TRA laid the groundwork in so many ways for what Taiwan is today, the thriving democracy with robust environmental standards and strong labor protections. And as a country that was poor just a generation ago, that's done what it has with prosperity, with creating a middle class, with environmental laws, with labor laws, with vibrant, independent trade unions to create that middle class is why I'm particularly proud of what Taiwan's done. But that doesn't mean we quit, because it means certainly we must continue to work towards Taiwan's sovereignty. We must continue to work towards full membership for Taiwan in the United Nations. We must continue to work towards Taiwan's full membership in UN organizations like the World Health Organization. I've been to Geneva with several people in the Taiwanese community to argue for initially observer status, ultimately Taiwan full status as a member of the World Health Organization. You can do as much for the WHO as the WHO can do for Taiwan, and that's what Western governments haven't understood, that Taiwan reaches out all over the world on healthcare issues, helping people that need help, has a very good healthcare system, more egalitarian certainly than ours in this country, and the world can learn from Taiwan and can benefit from Taiwan as Taiwan can learn from the world. And I remember back in September of what year, 2001 maybe, or 2000, when the earthquake hit Taiwan, I remember that it took 24 hours before China gave permission to international relief organizations to go into Taiwan, and that was close to criminal, and that's the kind of thing that underscores why Taiwan's sovereignty is so important. So we need to, as a nation, in my view, the United States needs to break from the outdated one China policy and honor the UN Charter's basic principle of self-determination. We need a different kind of one China policy, one Tibet policy, one Taiwan policy, because that's what will work for all of us. And I would close with this, but Taiwan has work it must do internally too. An often forgotten section of the TRA reaffirms the U.S. goal of seeking the preservation and enhancement of human rights for all people of Taiwan and in Taiwan. All the work Taiwan's done to become a vibrant, stable democracy can be undermined by human rights violations that disenfranchise citizens and foment international strife. Protection of human rights must remain a central tenet of Taiwan's government so it continues to set an example for burgeoning democracies all over the world. So I look forward to celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Taiwan Relations Act, again here in the Capitol, but next time with the ambassador from Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Brown, for visiting with us today and offering those comments.